I've been raised by my father for pretty much all my life, but my dad never really had a chance to teach me many things. He didn't provide much guidance as much as my older brother or many male influencers online. And to be fair, he was stressed with work, paying the bills and providing for my family, which I'm truly grateful for. But the only lesson he's ever really taught me is to pretty much not waste time. I've never had a true heart-to-heart conversation with him because we pretty much speak different languages and we never get time for it. So here are two life lessons your father never taught you about being a man. Lesson one is to be in control of your emotions. You've probably had those times where you felt like crashing out, you feel like crying, and someone might have told you to just toughen up, man up, or something like that. Or maybe you've never had that happen to you. The problem with that is that it's vague as fuck, and a lot of us might think that means to bottle up your emotions, to suppress them. This in the long run is honestly extremely unhealthy. When it comes to being in control with your emotions, the first thing is to understand that you are not the body, you are the soul. And your body experiences the emotion, and your soul simply witnesses it. And you get a choice to dictate whether you do something about it based on the emotion or you stop and pause and reflect on the logic and information and then make a decision. You can choose to be fucking angry, depressed, horny, and happy. When you become angry because someone did something to you, you have a choice of whether to feel that emotion and act upon it, or stop and observe the information and logic before you make a decision based on that. The other day, I was walking down my hallway in school, and this guy I know, no disrespect to him, but he's pretty short, almost half my height, but he's the same age and everything. I was walking by him, and then he just suddenly pushes me. He pushes me enough to almost just tip me over and trip. And I got pretty pissed because that was uncalled for and I wasn't expecting that. So I looked at him with a pretty pissed off face like this. But before I did anything, I suddenly thought that, bro, he's just probably trying to get a laugh. He's just being retarded. So I shrugged it off and continued walking my way. It was then he said,
"Yeah, stay quiet. Walk away."
I look at him again with the same fucking look. And remind you that he was half my size, so I could have easily done something to him. Pause. And I was going to actually punch him in the face, but I paused and I observed it and I analyzed the situation. He was probably trying to have a funny moment and he probably doesn't understand social cues because I honestly wasn't having it. He probably wanted it for validation and to seem important. And if I punched him, I would have gotten suspended. My parents would have gotten really mad at me. And I could have actually probably hurt him terribly because I genuinely really wanted to punch him in the face. I wanted to punch him in the face so badly that I was willing to just drop everything I have, not even putting it down on the ground softly, drop everything I have, including my laptop, and give him everything I got. But I realized that it wasn't fucking worth it. So with a complete straight face, I just continued walking. Sure, I could have laughed it off with him, but honestly, that was pretty much the second best option, and it didn't occur to me at the time. And sure, my ego was hurt a bit, but that's at the cost of him not losing most of his cognitive ability and me not going to juvie. I could end it there and move on to the next lesson, but when it comes to controlling your emotions, you might find that it's pretty fucking difficult. And believe it or not, the reason you find it difficult is because of your low attention span. You might not know it, but you have a low attention span. How many times have you lost focus on what I was saying? How many times have you scrolled down to the comments or looked at the videos on the side? If you haven't been watching this video with full focus, that's a sign of poor attention span. And the reason for that is because of short form content. Short form content like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, those things cause you to take in a lot of information in such a small amount of time to the point where your body, your mind, your brain loses the ability to remember shit. And to improve your attention span is to first not watch so much short form content and to also practice mindfulness. It's gonna sound like bullshit, but please stay with me. Mindfulness is the cognitive skill of sustaining meta attention of the contents of one's mind in the present moment. It means to be more focused on things. By being more mindful, you're able to analyze your present situation and make decisions, good decisions, so much more easily. By increasing your mindfulness, you might actually save your life. Because by improving this, you're able to control yourself, and who knows, it might stop you from punching someone in the back of the head. It might stop you from insulting someone to the point where they might stab you. It might stop you from committing a crime. And to improve mindfulness, to improve your attention span, is through meditation. And I'm going to show you how to meditate. Step 1 is to sit comfortably, somewhere quiet. Set a timer for 1 minute or less if your attention span is that fucked up, and close your eyes. Focus on one thing in particular, which is going to be your breath, and breathe in and out fully. See and witness every detail, from the moment the air enters your nose to when the air is traveling down your throat, filling up your lungs, and out the other way. And here comes the important bit. When you lose focus, which you definitely will, realize that and then bring your attention back to your breath. So it's this continuous cycle of being focused, losing focus, realizing you lost focus, and bringing that attention back to your breath. Think of meditation as a workout, and every time you bring attention back to your breath, that is a rep. And the more you do this, the higher your mindfulness becomes, and many things in your life will improve, including your ability to control your emotions. And remember that meditation is pretty much like any other skill. It requires progressive overload. For those who don't know what that is, that means to do more of it as you get used to it. So maybe for 1 week straight, you meditate for 30 seconds. But the next week, you meditate for 1 minute. And the week after that, 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then after that, 2 minutes. And believe it or not, you're eventually going to make it to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even half an hour. It always comes back to progressive overload. And another tip to improve your presence is by manually breathing. I know it can be annoying, but when you breathe in and out fully, presently, you just become more aware of things, and you calm so many racing thoughts through these habits. By increasing your mindfulness, you prevent yourself from doing probably a lot of stupid shit. Being creepy, fights, arguments, crime, those things will be prevented if you improve your mindfulness. Because believe it or not, so many people live their entire lives where 80 to 90% of their decisions are made based on their emotions. So a lot of them might not even be good for them in the long term. So don't have your life dictated by emotions. Use logic and reason to make the best decisions in your situation. Lesson 2. Men grow from suffering. When I was younger, I'd get scolded and shouted at for the smallest reason. Forgetting to put a spoon away, not knowing what something means in Bisaya, messing anything up. What this did was it developed a fear for failure within me. This carried out into pretty much everything I did, including when I would play basketball. I found that whenever I played basketball, I would always play as defense and never really play offense, because that would mean I would have less room for error. And by having less room for error, I wouldn't get shouted at by my coach or maybe even disappointing my teammates. The worst thing you can do is fear failure, because with failure comes growth. Failure is what makes you grow. Failure teaches you what not to do next time. And every time I avoided failure by being a coward, by running away, never doing anything, it caused me to, never grow. I was afraid of failure, and all I did was just simply chase comfort, never ever really trying things. I became fat. I developed an addiction towards video games. I became to see myself as a failure. And there's this saying where comfort is the killer of man. Because what is comfort? Comfort is being lazy, not doing jack shit, not improving yourself, not doing the hard work. When you chase comfort continuously through video games, fapping, mindless content consumption, and eating junk food, those things, even though they're comfortable now, they do so much damage to you, your mind, your body, your self-image, your soul. So what you need to do is simply Stop chasing comfort and make yourself suffer. Every time I chose comfort, I would just simply be depressed. It always goes back to this idea of delaying gratification. Gratification meaning pleasure, delaying, pretty self-explanatory. When you delay gratification, when you suffer now for your future self, you begin to love yourself. You begin to feel a lot more better for yourself, because eventually you are going to be your future self. So by suffering now, it'll make your future self so much better. So understand that by suffering, you only get stronger. Sounds cringy, but it's the fucking truth, bro. So these are 2 lessons you probably didn't know of, or maybe you did know, and you might have actually learned something. But nonetheless, take action on these. But anyways, my name is Glens, and I help young men improve their mental health. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Sky.